While I was low on Galvantula EX, I was super high on this grass Pokemon, Hydrapple EX, which has so far lived up to the hype in Japan. It was easy to get excited about Hydrapple. It's a Stage 2 Pokemon with 330 hit points that hits Charizard EX for weakness, has an ability that accelerates energy into play while healing, and has an attack that does damage based on the amount of grass energy you have in play. Because of that, like Raging Bolt EX and Regidrago V-Star, Hydrapple EX is another great partner for Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. Yeah, having a deck that gets completely wrecked by Radiant Charizard isn't the best, but the synergy is too hard to ignore. After combing through the winning Japanese list from the first week of Stellar Crown, of which there were several, this is what appears to be the best Hydrapple EX deck coming with Stellar Crown on September 12th. Best of all, it's super straightforward with very few bells and whistles. Unlike Raging Bolt and Regidrago, where you have to worry about discarding energy or Pokemon, Hydrapple is a mostly brain-dead autopilot deck, perfect for someone like me. In terms of strategy, there's not much to explain. Get energy into play turn 1 and draw some cards with Ogerpon, all while setting up a couple of Applin. Bug Catching Set helps get Grass Energy and or Grass Pokemon, smoothing out your turns. Then keep drawing and accelerating with Ogerpon, Rare Candy into a Hydrapple, and start swinging for big damage. Whereas Ogerpon requires the energy to be either on itself or the other opposing active Pokemon to deal boosted damage, Hydrapple gets a boost from all the energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Assuming you use Teal Dance with all 4 Ogerpon on turns 1 and 2, plus do your attachment for turn and accelerate another energy with Hydrapple's Ripening Charge, you'll have 10 energy in play on turn 2. That means you're dealing 330 damage with Hydrapple, one-shotting everything meaningful in Standard. And Charizard EX requires just 5 energy in play to one-shot due to its grass weakness. Since you rely so heavily on EX attackers, Mimikyu will be a bit of a problem. That's where the Dipplin will come in to give you a handy. While you won't be using the Festival Lead ability to attack twice in this deck, Twilight Master Ray Dipplin does 100 damage for a single energy provided you have 5 bench Pokemon. And don't overlook the new Stellar Crown Dipplin. It only does 20 damage, but against something like Raging Bolt, it just wins you the game, protecting itself from basic Pokemon damage the following turn. As for the Applin, you'll want to run the new one from Stellar Crown. They all suck, sitting at just 40 hit points each, but at least this one can deal 20 damage for a single energy. Oh, and always skip the Dragon Applin. While it has the best attack of the 3, it's not searchable with Bug Catching Set, so it's mostly useless. In terms of the ace spec, Japanese players are choosing Scoop Up Cyclone first, with Prime Catcher in second and Unfair Stamp third. Scoop Up Cyclone kind of acts as a switch card, a healing card, and even a draw card all in one, so it's a great choice. Otherwise, Prime Catcher is additional Gust and Unfair Stamp is additional draw. As you'd expect, some other cards have snuck their way into Japanese Hydrapple lists. These include Toedscruel EX to protect your Pokemon against effects of attacks like Roar Moon EX's one-hit KO and Dragapult and Sableye damage counterspreading. Hisui and Lilligant V-Star to give you access to a V-Star power that grabs you any 5 in combination of Grass Pokemon and Grass Energy from your deck, and Fezandipity EX to draw you cards after somebody gets knocked out. I also like the Radiant Greninja with Power Hourglass combo. Is it good? Maybe not, but Greninja is additional card draw, and Power Hourglass attaches an energy from your discard pile to your active Pokemon at the end of your turn. Then there's Briar. It's an interesting flex card as it allows you to take an extra prize card if your opponent has exactly 2 prizes remaining. Unfortunately, at least in this deck, Briar only works with Ogerpon EX, not Hydrapple EX, since Hydrapple is not a Terra Pokemon. Something that popped up super recently in Japan is a build with Great Tree. Since you already run 4 copies of Bug Catching Set and 4 copies of Rare Candy, Great Tree does feel like a win more card, especially since there's no way to manually search for a stadium in the deck. But if you want to take an Applin on turn 2 and turn it into a Hydrapple EX without needing Rare Candy, Great Tree is your only option. And you could even include a copy or 2 of Gardenia in the deck for extra damage potential, but then you'd, have to play Gardenia and nobody wants to do that. Instead, chuck in a copy of Weird ERV if you're feeling spicy. Any good grass deck has a chance to succeed in a Charizard EX dominated meta, provided that Charizard player doesn't realize Entei V exists. Hydrapple definitely fits the bill of a good grass deck, so don't be surprised if this makes some waves in Standard when Stellar Crown launches on September 12th. Are there any changes you'd make to Hydrapple? Let everyone know in the comments.